Hello and welcome to the Fuzzy Loaf podcast, where two dorks talk about the week's happenings in news and pop culture. I'm Scott. That's Matt.
Yeah, it's me.
So, we're not going to do any news this week because Batman v Superman came out, and this is just out. We're just going to do our review because we got a lot to say, and we're here to ask the question too. Does it really suck? You know, you've heard everything from the critics have to say, and all the negative reviews. We're here to give you the fanboy opinion and tell you, does it really suck? And sadly, the answer is yes, it really does suck.
Yes, it does.
It does. I mean, it's not good, but I mean, I think we should talk about some positives if we can, instead of, because we don't want to be all there. There is some good spots in this movie, but let's start with the positive point for you. What do you have? Any positives that you can really think of?
Ben Affleck as Batman is the biggest thing. I think he's a great fit. Like I said, I think the story arc for him in this movie was weak, but that's not his issue. No. Same with a lot of the actors in this movie.
Yeah. That was my thing where I told you about when you first came over. I was like, none of the actors in the movie are bad. It's what they're given is garbage.
Yeah.
They do the best with what even Gal Gadot I thought she was pretty good with her 3 lines as Wonder Woman. Oh, also, I forgot to mention on the top, we're going to do full spoilers.
Yeah.
It's going to say it in the description for the video, but this is going to be just the most spoilerific thing ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
And if you have not seen it yet, don't see it.
Honestly,
I would wait to see it when it comes out. Like, it's really not.
But I gotta say though, if you're really hardcore, and you're like, I've got to see it, and you want to make up your own mind, see it. If you're on the fence, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
And I know this probably sounds bad because you and I have been, the whole time we've even done this show, we've been kind of hating on the movie.
Yeah.
But that's because we just care a lot about the characters and stuff. And so, I mean, I don't want to it's kind of like we have a little bit of a bias, but I'd say, I mean, we didn't go into the movie wanting it to be bad.
No,
really.
I wanted it to be fantastic.
I mean,
that was my hope.
You don't want any movie to really be bad, but I don't know. I gotta say though, I gotta be honest, before I saw the movie and I saw the negative reviews, I got a little happy, but that's just because my opinion from seeing everything about the movie before kind of got validated by those negative reviews. But then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go fingers crossed, and I'm gonna go, come on, please be good. And I just was disappointed.
Yeah.
But sorry, we got off track. Positives.
One positive thing from you, Mr. Negativity.
Positive for me. You said Batman, and I agreed with, so I'm trying to think of something different. I really liked Wonder Woman. Actually, she's barely in it, and the whole reason she's in it is stupid. Like, you can tell she's shoehorned in there, but the character herself I kind of liked. And I think Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really had to pull that out of my ass for a positive, but it is a positive I had, so.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's other positives that I can.
Because we were talking, even the score was a negative for us, which is kind of effed up. But yeah.
Sorry, this is a little weird because we only have one microphone right now.
So we're sitting real close.
Real close.
Yeah. So okay, let's just get into our negatives. We were already talking about it before we started rolling. I mean, if any more positives come out, we'll think about it. But I can't think of any at the top of my head. We said the actors, they're good. They're fine. Even Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, he does a good job with what he's given.
Yeah.
But his character sucks.
It literally is like they said, hey, instead of playing Lex Luthor, just pretend like you're playing the Joker.
Which is basically the opposite spectrum of characters. When you look at the comics, the Joker and Lex are they're both bad guys, I guess, but really they're on opposite sides of the bad guy spectrum. And poor Henry Cavill, god damn it, he seems so good as Superman. He looks like Superman. I like him a lot. but they don't give the guy anything to work with.
Yeah.
You can tell Zack Snyder hates Superman. I said that while watching this movie. I said to my friend as I was sitting next to him, I go, Zack Snyder really hates Superman.
Yeah, I was...
he probably doesn't, but that's what it seems like for me.
There were a lot of comments online from people that liked the movie, because I was looking, I was really digging for people that liked the movie, because I wanted to see why, and, what it was. And they were saying that this gives, a deeper look into the psyche behind the superheroes than, any Marvel movie has. But it's like,
no, it doesn't. It's really very hollow.
It is very hollow, and it's very much like they made a different Superman story, and I'm all for them. This doesn't have to be the Superman from the comic or the Superman that we have all grown to know, but they should realize that if people don't like it, that something needs to change.
Don't just stick with it.
Because
don't force people to like it.
This version of Superman is very much very flawed and very his intentions are very thin, and the moments where he saves people almost seem out of selfish, he wants to be recognized as the hero, not he wants to do right by people.
I don't. It's the classic Superman is he's just this good farm boy, just trying to do good in the world and just be a good person. Mm-hmm. This Superman's almost just he wants to be adored,
Mm-hmm.
He's very selfish, and I just don't understand. It's that's not the. I understand. Okay, this is hard for me to explain, but when you take a character from a book or some other form of media and bring it into the movie, obviously there's going to be things you change and adapt, which is fine, but you want to stick to those core values of the character, otherwise it becomes unrecognizable, and I feel like that's kind of what's happened to Superman.
Or it becomes an extreme alternate version,
right? He's playing Ultraman.
Yeah, because I was going to say it's I'm all for this too. If they wanted to do a version of Iron Man and it was entirely different, you know what I mean? If they wanted to do Spider-Man but it was an entirely different, that's fine, go play with it, but then realize that people want you to come back to this original, this idea of the core character that you created.
Stick to the
ideals.
The core character, when you get away from, you tweak them a little bit, mm-hmm. but when you stray too far from the core, you alienate people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened with Superman. This Batman is... It's definitely Batman, but it's more Punisher than Batman.
Yeah, this version of Batman was very dark. I'm
already not a fan of Batman.
Yeah, he was very clearly just straight up murdering people.
Yeah.
With weapons.
Yeah.
And fucking drove a car into a oil or a truck, a tanker truck.
Well, yes, and then there's that part where. There's a shot in the trailer where you see Batman with a gun, thing. It's a tracker thing, mm-hmm. but they made it look like a sniper. Which to me, okay, this is probably super nitpicky, but I was like, that's stupid. It's because it was almost like they're trying to trick you,
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff
see,
in the
we got
trailer,
Batman with the gun, and they're like, oh, psych, it's a tracker, and I'm just like, don't do that. Just. It was stupid. It was. Yeah. There's a lot of things in this movie that I thought, well, this is just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about big things that let's talk about the editing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the editing is probably the thing that bothered me the most. This movie could have probably cut another 30 to 40 minutes and still.
Or it could have put in another
better.
hour to make the fucking scenes flow together. To me, it felt like there was no connection between any of the scenes. It felt here's this.
Yeah, but there was a lot of stuff. Here's this. All of the nightmare scenes could have been cut.
Done. Stupid. Yeah. There's no point in that.
Also, the scene where where Clark is on the mountain and sees his dad and stuff.
What was the point of that? It moved nothing along.
It stopped the movie. It pulled you out of what was going on, and then you're sitting there what the fuck is happening right now?
That's what I was. I was just going, wait, what? This is.
Yeah.
The whole nightmare scene where it shows Batman in the desert. When we saw it in the trailers, we're like, that looked pretty cool. And then when you see it, when I saw it in the movie, I was like, this is dumb. There's no reason for it.
And then what I didn't get is when he wakes up, I air quotes wakes up, and then sees the person from the future.
That's the Flash.
Was that the Flash?
That's the Flash, dude. My friend who I was watching it with thought it was Cyborg.
I had no idea. Flash. I could not tell what was going on.
It doesn't look like the Flash. No. He's wearing robotic armor and stuff. He looks like Booster Gold.
My question is, so they kept that in, and that just confused me. Somebody that is
right.
I would say, more familiar with a lot of this material than a lot of moviegoers. I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and if that was actually happening, or if he was dreaming that was happening. And it's like,
who the fuck knows?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And then, okay, as a person who watches a lot of television, I understood what they were doing there. The Flash went back in time because he had to. It's a paradox.
I knew it was time travel. That was all I knew. I was
knew
like,
that.
Somebody from the future.
Yes, and he's like,
is it real or not?
Because he's like, oh, I'm too early. No, I'm just like, okay, I understand what you're trying to do because I watch a lot of TV. I know the tropes, and I understand this is going to be explored in the Justice League movie. Flash goes back in time. He's got to talk to Batman about something, but it felt bumbled.
Yeah,
and regular audiences, I think, would be confused because I knew what they were doing, and I was confused.
I was like, I have no idea what's going. Like, I don't know if they intend for you to think that this is happening or to know that this is happening.
Right.
That was where I was at. Was like, is this literally happening in the movie, or is this happening in Batman's head in the movie? Like.
Okay, since we're on the topic of like flow and stuff and things that didn't need to be in there, which was Batman's whole like, why is Batman having visions of the future? Obviously, that's Darkseid. Yeah, and those were parademons and stuff. Clearly, I don't know why Batman's having visions of Darkseid coming to Earth. I mean, I do know why. It's because in Justice League, Darkseid's gonna come to Earth. Yeah, but why is Batman like? It doesn't make sense
because they're trying too hard to set everything up. This would have been better. Catch up, but this would have been better as a tag scene. Like if this, like that, the whole like him having the vision at the end of the movie, that would have made so much more sense.
That's the thing that's the thing where these DC movies could benefit. That's what the tag scenes do is they add little extra things to set up, but they don't take you out of the actual movie because you have the whole movie and then you've got these little tidbits at the end. That's what is so smart about the tags, but Warner Brothers doesn't do that. My mind's just so scattered all over this, but I'm trying to keep it really focused for the review, but I think it's just focus. This movie had no focus, so this review is going to have no focus. Yeah. The introduction of the other Justice League members. So stupid, I thought it was
once
dumb.
Again,
maybe
something that
would have been a tag.
Yeah, exactly. I know I'm not saying that they should just start adding like 15 tags, but these are things that I would have looked at and been like, okay, we can do this as marketing material post movie, put it out online just as a teaser. We can put it at the end of the movie. This is stuff that could be on the extended edition. This is stuff doesn't make any sense in the theatrical release. Didn't do anything, didn't add anything to the movie, just made it like more like, here's the action that's going along, here's the storyline, we're going to take a break and then talk about something that is inconsequential right now.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, they could have just shown the files with the logos on there, and I think that would have been enough.
Well, that was enough when he saw them on the computer the first time. I was like, okay.
Why do they have to do it a second time, where Wonder Woman looks
and it hovers over it for about 40 seconds, then clicks on it, then clicks play on the video.
Oh, the pacing in this movie was awful. I got a question about, when my friend who I saw it with, he said he was so excited for Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and then he saw the little video introduction of him, and he looks at me and goes, what the fuck was that? Yeah. He's like, what was the reason for that?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
And the cyborg thing, that was clearly a mother box being integrated into his body. I just didn't understand.
It felt like it went on.
Where did he get the mother box from? I've got at least one good thing on my mind. If Darkseid hasn't come to Earth yet, because if you've read the introduction of the Justice League in the New 52, Cyborg is created when he's injured in the first wave from Darkseid, and then his body's integrated with apocalyptic technology and stuff. Where did he get what? Fuck, I don't. I'm
gonna guess that it's gonna be Kryptonian technology of some kind. Oh, they're gonna explain it that way.
But it just feels like they're trying to rush everything and play catch up to Marvel. But what they don't understand is they don't have to play catch up to Marvel.
They can take their time.
They could take their time.
And I hope they will.
And that would be good for all of us because then we get just more superhero movies over a longer period of time. Yeah. Why rush? There's no reason to rush. Just chill out, man, and go slow.
See, and I liked, even though I didn't like Man of Steel, I liked how they did it in Man of Steel, where we saw Wayne Corp towers.
You saw allusions
and it's like, okay, that's a nice nod.
That's what they did in Iron Man
but
and stuff.
In this movie, it's literally like fucking in your face. We're gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, just came everything all over the place.
It's like, no, you didn't need to. The people that are going to be excited for a Flash movie and a Flash in this universe are going to be excited by just seeing the fucking Flash logo. You don't need to give the whole
You don't have to give it all. You don't have to shoot your load all at once.
Also, I hate to say it, just even from that clip, I do not like Ezra Miller's Flash either. Like he did not. It didn't. It just didn't.
It seemed weird to me.
Didn't feel like Barry Allen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just so like I don't know how. I don't even know how to like focus my thoughts because this movie just got me all scrambled. Let's talk about the score, because you and I were talking about the score before we started recording, and how I like Junkie XL. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Hans Zimmer does everything. You know, he's fine. He's whatever.
Well, and Hans Zimmer does everything. That means that he pays somebody $10,000 to actually do it, and then takes the whatever 40 million.
You're the music guy, so you know what.
Yeah.
Okay. But Junkie XL, I like him. The music, and he did Fury Road, and that is, I don't know if you've listened to that and listened to the soundtrack. It's awesome. But what the fuck?
The movie was the soundtrack was all over the place.
Just like the rest of the movie. Everything was all over the place.
The movie felt like 3 or 4 movies were cut into 2.5 hours. That's what it really felt like to me. Like, there was parts that I was like, okay, this could be a Batman film. There was parts that this is a Superman film. There are parts where it was like, this could be like a, Justice League, like just set in the DC universe. Like, didn't really like the hodgepodge parts that were like, okay, I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Like all of Lex's stuff.
And you said you hated Lex's theme.
Yeah.
I didn't really catch it very much, but you caught it.
It was very circus-like. So there was now I'm not going to be able to think of the name of the instrument, but it's very circus-like, and then they had like strings in it, and it sounded very like comedic almost. Like it didn't sit well with me. It sounded like fucking Sherlock Holmes, like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. Like it sounded like that kind of music.
Oh,
and it's like,
doesn't make sense.
That doesn't.
Yeah,
fit.
a lot of and Wonder Woman's theme drove me nuts. It took me out of the movie because you hear the like the weird guitar, and I was like,
when I remember seeing that in the trailer, one of the more recent trailers, and thinking, I hope that's not in the movie. And then it came on, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Because it took me out. It didn't seem like that should be something for these characters. It would maybe work in a different movie, but like. When I think of, when Wonder Woman makes her appearance or something, it should be like grand and regal, with like maybe like horns and stuff like that. Do you remember the Justice League animated series, like the intro? I mean, it should just, I don't know, it should be like powerful, but it didn't, and it just took me out. I was like, this is just weird.
Yeah.
And I don't pay much attention to score a lot in movies.
And that shows you
because it just
a
flows.
Good score. Yeah,
but this took me out of the movie.
Yeah. And I think that's something that Marvel has really worked out. And it's probably because Disney has a hand in the production of their movies. But
I mean, someone will argue Marvel movies are very cookie cutter, which I will kind of agree with. But it's a formula that works.
What works is they have songs that when a song stands out, it's for a reason. So like Guardians of the Galaxy, when there's songs that are playing and you recognize that they're playing, it's for a reason. They had
more of a soundtrack than a score.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like in, let's say, Iron Man, then you have music that's the backing, like the score, but then you had Back in Black.
When AC/DC comes on, because there's always an AC/DC song.
Exactly, and it's like they did that for a reason.
Right.
It only pulls you back and out and makes you recognize the music when it has to.
Right.
Like
when it's like, for a reason. This, it was just like, they clearly didn't intend for that to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
And that just drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it.
So
what else did you?
I wanted to talk about the ending.
Oh,
the ending sequence, I'll call it, because it was about 20 minutes long.
Do we want to talk about Doomsday before that, or do you want?
Oh shit, we should talk about Doomsday.
Okay,
I don't know what pisses me off more. The fact that they ruined Lex in this movie, but that they also Justice ruined League, Doomsday. They did it at the same fucking time. It's like how?
I don't, because Doomsday just shows up.
Yeah.
You're just like, Oh, so he's what?
I knew instantly when he's like, I want the Kryptonian's body, or like this specimen.
You knew what he's doing. Well,
yeah,
and also,
I was like, please,
because we heard the rumors, and even worse, they showed Doomsday in the trailer. If they hadn't shown Doomsday in the trailer at all, it might have been going into watching this movie a nice surprise. Okay, maybe not nice, but a surprise.
Yeah,
nothing was a surprise, but you're watching it, and you're like, oh, Doomsday's here, because we knew he was coming. That you gave it away. That's dumb. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing with I got to get into this because it was driving me crazy, and it just popped me back in the head. So the whole reason Superman fights, and I'm using quotation marks because it's dumb. It's just like everything else in this movie is dumb. Fights Batman is because Lex Luthor kidnapped his mom, which I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
that's not something even Lex in the comics would do. Lex wouldn't do that. So, and also, Lex and Superman just met, and Lex already knows who Superman is.
Yeah, Lex knows everything about everybody.
This is so stupid.
So, like, I don't know how Lex is still in jail, because if I was Lex, I'd be like, that guy is Superman, and that guy is Batman, and I'm gonna fuck everybody's shit up, because I know everything, apparently.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And the whole, like, Batman, like, so Batman was manipulated by Lex, and Superman was also basically blackmailed or just forced, because otherwise he'd kill his mom to kill Batman. And, like, Batman's motivations for fighting Superman are so weak. Where we're going into this movie, we kind of thought, oh, he deems Superman as a threat, this and that. But when you watch the movie, you're like, this is actually really weak. Yeah. Really dumb. And then, like, Superman shows out to fight Batman. He's like, wait, we're being used. And Batman's just like, "Rrr." And it's like, this is... And the reason that he stops is because
I know
their mothers share the same name?
I know. I was like, okay, this is the dumbest plot point in the entire movie, because it's like, stupid. If his mother's name was like Wendy, then you'd be like, even know. You'd been like, fuck you, you're already dead.
Why didn't Superman just say, fight on to Batman? Lex is holding my mother hostage. That's what to kill her. Yeah. Fight averted. That's all it would take.
Exactly.
It's so dumb. It's just, there's just, oh my god. And it may sound like we're being really harsh on this movie, because I know there's people that liked it, but I'm honestly it's just so dumb. Yeah, it just feels so, it's so dumb. And how dumb the movie is makes me think that they think we're dumb.
Yeah, I think three things happened. One, they overpromised, and like overpromised too early. They were like, we're gonna do Batman versus Superman,
and they did that 3 years ago.
Didn't even have a script, or like didn't have a script that was good yet, and then everything was rushed. Like, I wanted to bring this up too. The animation was fucking horrendous. My phone keeps falling.
Just put it on the table.
Yeah. The animation was horrendous. And the fucking animation for Doomsday,
garbage.
I'm pretty sure
looked worse than
I'm pretty sure it was just a reskin of, like, because this is WB, of fucking some of the goblins and whatever from The Hobbit. It looked just
an
like
an orc.
Yeah,
it did look like an orc.
Yes, and it's just like, I feel like they promised too much and were like, we're gonna have it out by this time, and it was like, fuck, we just gotta do it, so whatever. Like, we have this, we have that, we have this. All right.
And it was like what you said, how there was like 3 or 4 movies in this movie. I noticed that too, especially in the Doomsday fight, because you can tell. So they wanted to make a first meeting, a forming of the Justice League movie.
Yep.
They wanted to make a Dark Knight Returns movie. They wanted to make a Death of Superman movie. And some other shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And those are all 3 very, very different things that you can't put into one movie. It doesn't work.
There was like sections that were just very tonally jarring, because and it's like, it sucks because parts of them, if each of them separately, were okay.
Right.
If they would have been separate and fleshed out and worked on, they could have been good. But then they just were like, it's like, no,
it was worse than children playing with action figures. One scene that didn't like because I knew everything, because I'm coming at it as a fan. Everything seemed very projected to me. When Superman flies up and takes Doomsday to space or whatever, and they launched a nuke at him and it's gonna hit them, I know exactly what that's from. It's from The Dark Knight Returns, where Superman, takes a nuke or whatever. And have you read The Dark Knight Returns?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, Superman takes a nuke and he's all like skeletal or whatever, like Superman's dead. Well, the sun heals him. They did that exact thing, same thing in the movie where Superman's floating there. You see him all worn out, and the sun like regenerates his body. They just did that because that's a scene from The Dark Knight Returns. And then you've got. Okay, do we want to talk about the end?
Yes.
And how when that part happened. Well, we're doing full spoilers.
Full spoilers.
So, fuck this. I'm just getting angry now. I was sad, and now I'm angry. I'm going through, the stages of grief or loss or whatever. So, Doomsday kills Superman. And it's so stupid. And I thought, wait. That's when I turned to my friend, and I go, you can really tell Zack Snyder hates Superman. Does he hate Superman that much that he kills him in his second movie?
Yeah, I will give him credit for this, though. The scenes surrounding his death, so the mourning scenes and
those
stuff.
Those were cool.
Those were the most emotional, the actually impactful parts of the movie that were okay, this totally makes sense for this right now.
But that would have way more impact if that was in Superman's third or fourth movie. If we got to know Superman and we got to see Superman do good in the world. Because you're kind of getting the feeling that people don't know or don't like him. That fanfare and everything like that would have such greater impact if we got to see. I
think it's because of where they started. They started with Man of Steel. You have amateur Superman causes huge destruction. Then this movie was very much like Superman's answering for that justice. And then they were like, "Hey, you know what would be great if we killed him at the end." And it's but
none of you guys even like Superman? What the fuck?
Yeah,
it's just. Oh my god, that just pissed me off the most. And I gotta tell you, by that point, so my friend, we both had to really pee, but I was like, I gotta see this through. He honestly was just like, fuck this, and he got up to pee and didn't even come back for the end. Because he was just like, he hated it. He hated it more than I did, and which is weird because he liked Man of Steel, or I hated it, and he's a huge Batman fan. But the whole time he was watching the movie, he was just like, what is this trash? Which. It says something when he didn't like it more than I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But that ending just pissed. I was like,
when I didn't like that they went back to show Lex again. It just it was unnecessary. I guess it was more they were using him as the proxy to be like, okay guys, Darkseid's really coming.
Right. It's I can tell apparently what Lex was doing was trying to almost I think he was trying to get Darkseid's attention.
Yeah.
In a sense,
but how did he know about
I don't understand. Yeah. This is dumb. And this isn't the Lex Luthor that I know. Mm-hmm. It's another thing we were talking about with Superman. You deviate so much from the initial character that
it might as well have just been a different character.
It might as well. They could have called him Maxwell Lord, and it would have been completely. It wouldn't have been, or given him call him Jim Jam McFlibbleflop, and no one would even know.
Fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
It's just Mark Zuckerberg isn't even as bad as Lex Luthor in.
No, I'm just saying
you could have called him anything.
But he could have just been whatever. It doesn't matter because he wasn't Lex Luthor.
No, none of these characters were themselves. I mean, Batman was kind of. Oh, I just thought of a positive for me.
Yeah,
sassy Alfred.
Yeah,
I liked that.
He was good. They had a good relationship.
Right. This movie made me interested in a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Speaking of, because he did confirm he is penning the script, first script.
It's old news though. We already knew about it.
Well, it happened last week, and I was gone. It was rumored that it was happening. Ben Affleck literally came out and said, "Yes, I am writing the script."
I figured it, but I figured it was going to happen.
Yeah,
we've known it was going to happen since he was cast. But, and I don't even like Batman. I'm not. I don't not like Batman. I'm just not a Batman fan.
I'm interested in this version only because I want to know what is going on with all the characters, like all the people around him.
Right. I want to see, I want to see Robin in a movie.
I know I said this to you. You didn't respond to this in the text message.
Because I also disagree with you.
I am 100% positive. They laid that on too thick for that to not be what's going on.
What were your points?
Okay, so they show the armor that said...
well, I think that's because the Joker killed Robin.
But then the line in the movie goes...
how many people stayed there?
Yeah, it's like, how many heroes are there in Gotham? How many heroes are there still around? How many heroes stayed that way? And then Alfred kind of gives him that look like, yeah. I also...
Because the Joker's the same age as Batman. That would be kind of... Jared Leto's the same age.
Yeah, but they aged Ben Affleck to look older than he is, and Jared Leto is one of those people. He could play a 20-year-old until the day he's 60.
That's true.
So that's just my feeling.
I think you're wrong, but I understand why you think that. I think it's just...
Well, and just with the way this movie went, I could see them pulling that so hard.
And it would be so dumb.
Yeah.
That's my problem with this DC universe and I don't want anyone to call me a DC hater. This guys at Screen Junkies get that shit all the time, and it's so stupid. Come on, I'm a huge Superman fan. You want to see? I'll show you my collection of comics and my action figures and everything. And I love DC stuff. They're the modern American gods, and I don't know. And the reason I think I am so harsh on this stuff is because I feel so strongly about the characters, and I like them so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think they're just doing everything wrong.
I just think they're taking risks and they're not going well. Whereas Marvel is very much playing it safe for the most part.
And they did play it safe. Mm-hmm. And I think there's really nothing wrong with playing it safe.
No.
I mean, risks are cool, but sometimes risks are really bad.
Yeah.
And if you have too many misses with your risks, maybe go back to playing a little safer.
Yeah. I really hope that Zack Snyder is not attached to Justice League.
Right, and I want to talk to you
about his role is reduced, at least.
Well, it goes into production in 2 weeks.
So, I have a feeling we'll have an announcement next week that production's being delayed.
I think this opening weekend is going to be good for the movie.
I don't doubt that, but because of
the following weeks are going to drop drastically.
And how poorly it's being reviewed. Even if it makes gangbusters money, they have to realize
they have a problem.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this will only work for so long.
Right.
I still don't think it'll do gangbusters. I think this opening week is going to do great because there's a lot of people that are going to go out and see it because they want to see Batman v Superman. They're like, oh, I love Batman, I love Superman, but then they're going to be like, oh,
it's going to get bad word of mouth.
Yeah,
like us, we were also you also kind of didn't want to see it at this point because you heard all the bad.
Yeah, reviews. I heard all the bad.
But
stuff.
I kind of forced you. I was like, we have to do a review, so you have to go see it. But so I was talking to my friend today, a different friend, and I said he doesn't really like superhero movies. He sees some of them. He had no interest in seeing Batman v Superman because he saw the reviews and he's like, I'm not seeing that trash. But I told him I unfortunately want this movie to bomb because it's bad, and I want it to send a message to the studio that they need to change their shit.
Yeah,
you know.
I really hope.
I don't really ever ask for a movie to bomb, but your dollars are your vote.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
Well, that's one reason why I was like, I don't want to see.
I know,
but it's like,
but that's the reason.
I'm glad I did though because it just reaffirmed all of the issues that
we've been talking about.
Yeah, it was like I saw the trailer and I was like I'm just not. Something like the tone is off. Something's not right, and it's like my intuition was there.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the reason we keep getting these shitty Transformers movies is because they keep making $1 billion.
Well, and a large reason they keep doing that is because of overseas. Because now Transformers, their main money is from China.
Well, actually, I just heard a report the other day that apparently China has surpassed as they are now the biggest box office.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see movies pandering to China a lot more, which.
Well, especially in a country where Not everybody speaks English, and these are English movies that may or may not be overdubbed.
It's going to be interesting.
They're going to be... the plot points are not important. Let's just say that.
Well, the plot points in this movie are trash. Well, I'm going to be following the numbers for this movie very closely. Are there any points that we're leaving out that we want to talk about?
I'm trying to think, because there was a few things that I wanted to bring up, but I think for the most part we've covered everything. Just kind of like disappointed is the best way to describe it.
I came out sad. My first thing I put on Facebook and said to my friend was, I can't believe I was bored in a movie about Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
Two of the greatest heroes of all time. Not just greatest heroes, but greatest characters. And I was bored. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was just like... It was like everything was rushed. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It felt like they needed a script, didn't have time to worry about rewrites.
And they had 3 years for this fucking movie.
And like I said, it feels like Zack Snyder was very present in the editing room, because if I was the editor, there would have been so much more cut. Or who knows, maybe the Ultimate Edition will fix some of this, but it's only, I think, 20 minutes.
That's for sure.
I think
30
it's
minutes.
30 minutes longer.
God.
That's still, I don't know if it's enough to fix all of the plot holes and the issues. And it's sad, because like, if they would have taken the time to make this the 3 separate movies, like if they would have taken the time to introduce Batman in his own movie, and maybe do another Superman movie, then do this movie, like it could have worked.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah,
because it's just in my mind, Zack Snyder has still only made one good movie. That's Watchmen. I like Watchmen a lot.
See, and I'm not even a fan of Watchmen.
That's the thing. Watchmen is also a very divisive film. But I don't like 300. I think 300 is stupid.
300 was very cool at the time. It was like, oh, this is really...
But looking at it 10 years later...
It's terrible. It's a garbage movie.
Sucker Punch, it's a bad anime. It's
soundtrack. Bad
horrible.
movie.
It's a bad movie. I don't know. Man of Steel, did not like it at all.
Yeah.
I think those are like his only movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. Don't want to see any other ones. I like Watchmen. At least if you watch like the 4-hour ultimate super mega cut. But people have problems with that. So I mean, it's just a fucking mess. I will say, still looking forward to Suicide Squad.
I am hoping that Suicide Squad is good, because the tone of the trailer is great. The acting looks good. It was funny. It was like everything I imagined it would be.
So I'm hoping if they burn me on Suicide Squad, I'm officially completely 100% out.
Yeah.
Even though I kind of want to see Wonder Woman,
I'm still worried that they might mess that up too.
Yes, I am too. And I will say right now, after seeing Batman v Superman, Yawn of Justice, I should say, because it's so fucking boring.
Yawn of Justice.
After seeing it, I will not be seeing Justice League if Zack Snyder is attached to it.
I don't know if I can spend even $5 more to go see another Zack Snyder
And it
movie.
sucks, because I love the Justice League.
I have a feeling that the core movies of the DC universe are going to be bad. And I'm not counting Suicide Squad in core movies.
You're talking where you have Avengers. You're talking about like the Justice League and whatever ones Zack Snyder is affiliated with are going to be bad.
I feel like those ones are going to be bad.
I agree.
I feel like Batman has a chance, because I think Ben Affleck really wants to do the character right. But my worry about this...
The thing is, because Ben Affleck is a fan of the character.
Yeah. My worry about Batman is this. We've already had so many Batman stories in the last 20 years, like, just in movies, and it's like, I don't know what else we need to see from him. Like, what stories have we not explored already?
Right. What I think what you mean is DC Warner Brothers can't just keep going to the Batman well. Yeah. They've got other characters that they keep fucking up, but so they just go back to Batman. Yeah. Where it's just kind of like, everyone loves Batman, but you can't. Well, people are going to get bored.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we've seen. There's probably not a good way to do Mr. Freeze in a serious way.
Not really in the movies.
Yeah, or like the Penguin, or like all of these other characters.
Some of them you could do.
I feel like a lot of his rogues gallery you couldn't do, and then you have people like Ra's al Ghul, which we've already done in the Dark Knight series, and it's like,
and you've done 17 Jokers. It's people are gonna get. I know. I'm basically bored of Batman. Batman doesn't interest me at all. And I mean,
I'd much rather see Beyond.
Beyond. Oh yeah, I don't know. Fuck, man. I feel sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad coming out of this movie. And if you liked Batman v Superman,
more power to you. I'm
glad. I don't want people to not like things. And also, if you did like it, please let us know what you liked about it. Come at it as you're trying to, but be nice.
Yeah.
Just tell us what you liked. What did we not see?
It's one of those things too where I saw it once. It was a Saturday morning. I was tired. I'm not feeling 100%. Like, who knows? Maybe if I watched it a couple more times, like, there would be things that I would notice that are better. But it's like, I have a feeling that I'm still gonna have.
I went in. I had my ticket pre-bought. I saw it after. I was ready to go, and I was just bored. I'm sitting there just watching the movie, like, oh my god. I want to like pull up my phone. Like, it's just, oi. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, like I told you, I got up really quick and then we'll be done. I got up during the fucking like nightmare scene of the future for Batman. And I was like, okay, I've already seen most of this in the fucking trailer spelled out. I was like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. I had to get a drink because I was coughing and my throat was all agitated. Come back in. There's still like 2.5 minutes left in the fucking scene. I was like, how long is this fucking scene that has nothing to do with what's going on in the movie?
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
It's like takes you out of it.
And that was when I was like, man, how much longer do I have left? Oh my god, it's like not even halfway.
Not even close. I was listening to a podcast the other day. They're talking about the structure of movies. And when you look at movie structure, at the 60-minute mark, or like close to it, something big has to happen. Like a big action scene or whatever. And I don't think that did here.
Yeah, I'd have to.
It might have been that dream sequence
very closely.
part,
that might have been what they were going for.
That was disconnected from everything else. It didn't move the story forward, really.
I have to bring this up. I did not like the fucking the desert scene. I didn't think
that's what we're talking about.
No, I'm talking about like Lois Lane out in the desert in Nairobi.
That was stupid.
It didn't have.
And they tried to make it like a big deal,
a big plot point, and it was like,
we're like, why is this a big plot point? There wasn't. Just the whole thing with every scene in this movie. There wasn't enough there to make us feel anything. We're like, they tried to make like this whole like desert thing was like huge, but from what we saw, we're like, why?
Yeah. It just didn't make sense. But anyways, I keep bringing stuff up.
I think we're done. Let's do a letter grade scale. I think that's our scale for movies. Is we do letter grades. So on an A through F scale, what would you give it? Do you need time to think? Should I?
I'll give it a. I'm gonna go with C-.
Generous.
I'm being a little generous. If I was buzzed, it could be an entertaining movie. If I was in the right mindset, it could be entertaining. Not good, entertaining.
Well, okay. I'm trying to think because I want to do letter grade scale. The problem is letter grades based on percentages. So like anything above 60% is still considered good, and that's an F.
I wouldn't.
But F to me is 0. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't do a letter grade.
I was gonna say the way I think about letter grades is A is 100, C is 50, F is 0.
Yeah.
Because you can't get lower than an F.
I know.
It's just not possible.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes does it. If you're 60, anything above 60% is considered fresh. Anything less is.
And that's where I'm changing the mentality. Like in my mind, I was like a C-, bad.
Because I was gonna give it a D.
Yeah.
But. Basically, I'm giving it a D on our scale, but let me stress this enough, it's not good. As in, it's not fresh. It is rotten. I'm going to actually pull up right now what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, which, okay, it's not the be-all, end-all of movie scores. 30%.
Yeah.
And the audience score has been dropping since. It is now at 73. It's going down and down and down.
Yeah. There was a lot of And I was very confused by this. There was early screenings on Tuesday and Wednesday, I want to say is what they were, around the world that they were having, and tons of people were tweeting, really great movie.
No, that was Monday.
That's what it was. It was.
That was the world premiere on Monday.
And it was like tons of people like, this is the best.
And I told you too, didn't I? I was like that's a plant, dude.
I was like, there's no fucking way.
Because I texted you, or we were talking, and I was like, that's a plant. I was like, it's gotta be.
Yeah. But it was like unanimously, and I was seeing like dozens and hundreds, and it was like, this doesn't make any sense with anything we've seen so far. I was like, I hope they're right, and it's great. And then the actual reviews came out the day before, and I was like,
look at this. So Batman v Superman is 5% above My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
I'm actually not surprised by that.
Oh my god! All right, I think we need to end this review because we're just kind of rambling now, and I feel bad, and I kind of need like something to drink or something to like make myself feel better. But anyway, follow me everywhere on the internet. I think that's yeah, good enough. Trying to think of a good outro, but nope, that's it. We're just done. We can't talk about this anymore. Follow me everywhere at ScottyBoy, SCOTTYBWO4Ys. Matt, where you at, son?
You can find me on the interwebs at Hagnerd, HAGNERD. You can follow us on Twitter at Fuzzy Loaf. You can find our podcast on iTunes by searching Fuzzy Loaf. Subscribe to us, leave a review, give us a star rating or thumb rating. I don't know what they call it there.
Just comment and tell us that we're dumb or how we're doing.
Also, we are on YouTube if you're listening to this on iTunes, so you can find us.
That's where the thumbs up, the likes.
Yeah, that's the thumbs
5 stars on iTunes.
Yeah. Also, next week we'll be back with a normal episode, and I'll hopefully not be sick anymore. So
yeah, we wanted to do a Daredevil review, but
here's our Daredevil review.
It's fucking great.
It's good. My issue with the season was only this: it felt very much like Punisher and Elektra, not Daredevil.
But I didn't care because it made me like Punisher. I used to never give a shit about Punisher and Elektra. This movie did, or show did.
Yeah. That's
our Daredevil review because we're not going to go into that. If you liked this movie, tell us why. For real, we want to know what were we missing? What did we miss that you liked? And keep it civil. We know we're dumb. You don't need to tell us we're dumb. Like it's already out there.
Yeah.
And we're not DC haters or anything. But let us know what I'm sure is. Just like every other DC movie so far, is very divisive, except for The Dark Knight, because that movie's great. Let us know what was good about this. Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it.
All right, guys. We'll at least Suicide Squad looks good.
Yeah.
And we'll smell you later.